Hey everybody, welcome back to Anime Sekai Podcast. I am your host, Ichigo.
And I'm your other host, Mika.
Join us this week as we discuss To Every You I've Ever Loved, also known as Boku ga aishita subete no kimi e. Hey guys, welcome back.
Hey guys.
It's Friday. Thank you guys so much for joining us this week. And we hope you guys are getting ready. Christmas is coming up.
It's the season.
I'm so excited. I'm ready for Christmas. I love Christmas.
So do I. I'm
It's-
ready for snowy season.
yeah, we haven't gotten any snow just yet, but
Unfortunately not.
I really want some snow. Hopefully soon. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Okay, guys. So this week we are discussing To Every You I've Loved Before. This is a film series and it's a two-part series. So this is the second half. So if you have not seen either one of the movies, we will be giving spoilers. And we hope you guys enjoy. And I'm curious
Mm-hmm.
to know,
Mm-hmm.
without jumping too deep, what did you think? Just your initial thoughts based off of last week's movie. Your initial thoughts.
So honestly, I preferred this movie
Okay.
over the last one. And I
Okay.
am glad for the fact that I saw the comment that said, if you watched To Me before To Every, it has a happier ending. And I 100% agree with that person.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the order we watched it in,
The
I
order we
feel like
watched
ended
it.
with a happier, more more closure type of ending, in
Okay.
my
Okay.
opinion.
Okay.
What did you think?
I would second that.
Okay.
It definitely filled in a lot of holes for me
Yeah.
between the first
I
and the second
yeah, it
movie.
did.
So I will definitely say I am glad that we watched it in the order that we did. For
Yeah.
those that have not seen this movie, To Every You I've Loved Before, is a movie about Koyomi. And the movie synopsis, just real quick, says while struggling to make friends after his parents' divorce, Koyomi Takasaki meets Kazune Takigawa. But apparently, they already have. Kazune reveals that she's from World Line 85, an alternate universe in which she and Koyomi are lovers. But in reality, where moving between dimensions is natural, could Koyomi be the one from another world? So if I am comparing it to the last movie,
Mhm.
I definitely like this movie a lot more
Yeah. I'm with you
compared to
there.
the last one. Not saying that there was anything wrong with the last one, but this movie definitely filled in a lot of holes.
Oh, yeah. I just think it's hilarious that both movies are basically an explanation of the little montage they have toward the end. You know how they have
Exactly.
each I thought that was so funny to me. That was
Exactly.
hilarious. It's like the
This whole
fleshed out
movie.
version.
Right. This whole so if anyone has not seen the other movie To You, or is it To Me? I'm sorry.
This is yeah, the other one's
Yeah.
To Me, and this one's To Every.
Yes.
That's
Okay.
it.
So To Me, which is the first one that we watched last week's episode, there is close to the end of the movie a whole montage about Koyomi and Kazune and their relationship. And it's super quick and kind of
So
random and
rushed.
out of the
Yeah,
blue.
rushed and random, yep.
And I understand now more so that I've watched this movie why they did it that way.
Yeah.
But in the first one, I kind of wish, like, okay, I wish just a little bit that they dove deeper into how Shiori was actually saved.
Oh, okay. I see what you
Like
mean.
They did, but they didn't. And this one, at least for the first movie, this one explained a lot more about how Shiori was actually saved.
Yeah. And I did also read comments that said that this one fleshes out all the explanations a lot better,
Yes.
and I almost feel like this movie in itself could have been a standalone movie. The other one could not. Do you know what I mean? Is that just me?
Yeah.
I just feel
No,
like this could have been their own romance.
yeah, the other movie had too many holes in it that this one definitely filled, but I think if I watched this one by itself and didn't watch the other one, I would have liked it a lot better.
Oh. Yeah, because you don't get the second love, like the other love story in a
Right.
sense.
Right.
I 100% agree. I
Yeah.
feel like that whole, like, childhood love story, it just kinda threw it all off, in my opinion. I don't know, I just didn't really like that perspective of it.
Well, with to me, it was, and as I'm thinking about it, it both movies are parallel to them, like parallel universes of themselves.
Yeah.
So, which I, after watching this, I was like, now it makes a lot more sense. But in to me, they kept jumping back and forth between, almost like between this movie and To
Oh,
Every.
yeah. So it's, like, a little confusing.
So it got really confusing because I hadn't seen To Every yet. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so is he in an alternate universe right now or is he not? And if he's
Mhm.
not, then where are you going?
Yeah.
And why
Uh-huh.
don't I understand where you're at right now?
Yeah.
Like, are you back in your original universe? Are you in the parallel universe? Are you in somehow a third to a fourth parallel? Like what's going on? What's happening right now?
Yeah, no, it just wasn't really explained, and the thing was, I feel, in my opinion, the whole Shiori and Koyomi's, like, love story was just a little, like, it wasn't fleshed out, and because of that, it ended up being him and Kazune kind of. It didn't,
Hmm.
like, it just didn't work, and I feel like I will say the concept was very cute, but in my opinion, it would have been so much better if, like, the 2 versions of Koyomi were different people completely, and basically, like, they helped each other to get their lover back, or, like, they were, like, 2 separate characters in 2 different timelines or something, and they somehow met, and they helped each other in their separate timelines to make sure they ended up, like, with the right people, or, like,
Yeah.
the people they were supposed to, so that both of them could have the happy ending. So that way the 2 characters would end up with, like, like, a main lover, you know what I mean?
Right, right.
But it's just
Well,
one character that made it kinda, like, weird.
and the whole issue that I had was in to me, like the whole setup
Mhm.
of the movie kind of made you want to root for Shiori and Koyomi.
Yeah.
Like, although Kazune was added and, then they kind of jump and they're like, oh, they actually had an alternate universe and they're married and da da da. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't really care about this. I want to figure out how Koyomi finds a way
Get
to
their happy
save
ending.
Shiori so he can
Yeah.
have a happy ending and so that she can have that happy ending because here she is, a ghost and not able to move on. And Koyomi is literally wasting every single second of his life. Not wasting, I don't wanna say wasting, but he
Yeah,
is
but
working hard.
almost waiting for her, you know?
Right, well, waiting and, like, really working his butt off, completely cutting himself off from, any sort of friends that he would have, not
Mhm.
necessarily because we don't see how his relationship was with his parents while he was working.
But, like, life in general, he
Right, but,
puts
like,
on
life in
hold.
general, he
Mhm.
literally put his whole life on hold just to try to save Shiori. And in the end, all you see is like it's a black screen and you just hear them. And she's like, "Oh, I'm nobody important." Which that indicates okay, Koyomi and Shiori have met.
Yeah.
But at the start of To Every, which this is also what I really liked about us watching it in this sequence, is where To Me ended off. When you start To Every, it picks up in that
Yeah,
same
that spot.
exact same
Mhm.
spot, and I'm like, Oh, this is so cool. Cause I bet you if I would have watched it the other way around, I would have been confused at who the old man was
Uh-huh, yeah.
and
No,
why
I
he's
do
going
agree.
to the park to figure out who this
Yeah,
person was, you know what I mean?
yeah, and I feel like the final love story would have ended on him and Shiori instead of him and Kazune, which
Right.
I feel like as far as, like, the love story part went, I honestly, I think him and Kazune was, like, the real champs, which I didn't
Yeah.
feel like in the first movie. I thought she had to sacrifice everything to, like, tag along, but in fact, like, he in all the other sort of worlds, he basically shifts the timeline so that he falls in love with her so that he doesn't meet Shiori.
Mhm.
You know when he said, like when, like, she came back and he's like, "The 100 of me must love the 100 of you, no matter which world, like, whether we're happy or
Right.
sad. All of those me love you." And I'm just like, "Oh my god, so cute."
The whole and I'm so happy, like, you were right last week's episode where you were
Yeah,
like,
that's the
"This
thing
movie
that
has the happier
I'm
ending," and I was
Uh-huh.
like, "Well, the last one wasn't as sad, but I guess," and then when I finished this one, I was like, "Oh, she was right. Oh, man."
Thank you to the like, whoever made that comment under what I was watching, like, thank you because this was the way to go in my opinion.
It really was, it was good, and now I see the 2 stories together as a full story,
Mhm. Yeah.
and the other thing I found interesting was that you also have 2 different perspectives, and I don't know if you noticed this, but there was a slight personality change in the Koyomi from the To Me universe and the To
Mhm.
Every universe.
Yeah. I mean, even Cousin It, like, expresses that,
Mhm.
and I thought that was really I mean, he's just, like, a different person because like, he kind of went through different things.
Right. The only thing when they actually meet and they're talking that confused me is that she was like, "Oh, I'm from world 85."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, so they've" in my head, there's a parallel shift and he's moved or she has moved. She's not in her original universe. But then when they meet up again and they're talking and he goes, "Oh, you're Kazune."
Mhm.
He wasn't calling her by her last name. He called her Kazune. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I never parallel
It
shifted."
was a lie.
And I
Yeah.
was like,
I was like, "What?"
"So if you lied, then why did you tell him that the Koyomi from your world and you were lovers? If you didn't shift at all? Like if you've been
Mhm.
here the entire time, what was that your way of like trying to talk to him? Did
I think
you
it was.
like him and have a crush? And if that's the
Probably.
case, how did you even find out this dude knows about parallel universes? Like, can you imagine being a high school student and
And
there's
being that smart.
a guy that, well, not only that, but there's a guy that comes up to you and just starts talking to you like you already know each other, but
Yeah,
then
that's wild.
like 2 weeks
It's
later
a
he's like,
lie.
"Actually, I lied." And I'm like, "I've been here the whole time." That was the only thing I was like, "What?"
I didn't get that either. I was like, "What?"
Like she took the whole plastic watch face off of her watch and she was like, "I
Mhm.
realized I've been here the whole time. This is my universe." And I'm like, something a little fishy about
Yeah, so
it.
I wasn't sure, like, towards the end, I was like, "Was that really a lie?" Because there were moments where it looked like she shifted, like, when he gave her the
Mm.
ring and whatnot, it was, like, really momentary. I'm like, "So, is it a lie or did she actually" but I don't know. Honest,
But
that part
he
still
he
confuses
did
me.
say he was worried about that. He said
Yeah.
like right on their wedding day, he was like, "I always wondered, was the Kazune that I proposed to the original my original universe's Kazune, or was it a
Yeah.
different universe Kazune?"
Yeah.
But I like the fact that this movie didn't have very distinct parallel shifts compared to the last one.
Yeah.
And to me,
It
the
was in
parallel
this
shifts
world.
are so significant that it's hard to follow the whole story. But
Mhm.
in this one, it's very slight. And it's not until
Yeah.
somebody says, "I don't think you from this universe," that you're like, "Oh, wait, shoot, hold on."
Yeah.
I was wondering
Also,
why she was different.
yeah. Also, I thought it was interesting, like, because they didn't really bring it up, but, like, this whole parallel universe, like, the shift thing became, like, common knowledge, like, his granddaughter was talking
Yeah.
about it, and, like, I was like, "What? Was that?"
Mhm.
I don't remember if that was, like, really talked about
It
in the other
wasn't.
one,
It
so I was
seemed
like,
like it
"Wow, they
was
really
only
made a
those
difference."
2 in the other one. It was only
Mhm,
Kazune and Koyomi that were talking mostly about the parallel shifts. But here's the thing, they didn't get married, they didn't have kids,
mhm.
so that's not something that they're going to talk about with their granddaughter because they never get married in that universe.
Yeah,
They don't get together.
yeah, and honestly, because I really did think this was the way it was titled, I assumed it would be, like, he's expressing his love to every cousin in other worlds, but in a sense, it
Mm,
was this one, and that was really cute, but I didn't really expect the whole the whole moment. I don't know why this it was just really random to me, but, like, Dio, their kid,
mm,
when he got attacked, but then the other cousin from another world came over to, like, snatch him up not really, but to be with
yeah,
him.
to
I
be
didn't
with
really
them.
get I didn't really understand the point of that.
So, let me tell you something about that whole scene
Yeah.
because my heart dropped
Oh my god, yeah.
when he had that slight vision where he saw his son get attacked,
Mhm.
and then, like, the child was hurt. I'm not gonna go into so much detail, but, the child was hurt,
Mhm.
and I was like, "This man cannot catch a break." In the other universe,
Yeah.
he lost Shiori, and in this universe, his child is hurt and
Yep.
or potentially passes away.
Mhm.
And now the rest of this movie is gonna be how is he gonna go into the universe to save his son?
Exactly.
That's the
That's what I
whole
was
like,
thinking.
instantly, I was like, "Dang, this movie took a shift."
And you know what was hilarious? I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad we got to see, like, Cousin It and, like, they're happy, and this movie is so much happier," and then suddenly that happened, and I was like, "Wait a minute. Wait
Yeah,
wait a minute. Is this about to turn to a different movie? Because I don't know if I'm ready for that."
I really did, but the instance that I thought and kind of felt like Kazune had shifted, there was
Yeah.
two instances. The first instance was where Koyomi has tackled the guy with the knife,
Yeah.
and it flashes to Kazune real quick. Oh no, before he tackles him, it flashes to Kazune, and she's like looking around for him.
Mhm.
And the second thing that made me feel like there was a shift in either him or her. I wasn't sure yet. At first I thought it was her. And then when he had that nightmare of his son getting attacked, I was like, okay, maybe he's shifted. So when he wakes up and he goes into the room, his kid's room is going to be empty, like his child has been hurt and is no longer with them. But it wasn't until he told Kazune, like, I've become the reliable guy that you want. Like, am I your ideal Koyomi? And she just kinda looked at him like she didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's not her. That's not
Yeah.
her at all." And then the next scene is like, "Okay, well, like, you can go back to preschool now," and she immediately went like, "No, he can't go." And I was like, "Whoa,
Mhm.
whoa."
Yeah.
I feel like he should have noticed that though, not gonna lie.
I mean, the thing is, I feel like he's always experiencing, like, these moments of shifts, possibly. Also, like, that was a really traumatic event. I'm pretty sure he
Yeah.
probably looking at it as, like, I'm pretty sure my wife is gonna be a little bit, you know, abnormal for a while.
Mhm. But that whole scene, I was like, "This movie's about to take another
That's legit what I
turn."
thought. And I don't know, is it just me? I felt like Koyomi was when he was explaining to Kazune, like, "Hey, this is not, this is not your son," in a sense. I'm like,
Mhm.
"So you're telling me you are gonna basically change all these timelines for one girl, and you're not even gonna, like, try to get your son back in one world?" Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me. I
Because
was like,
technically his universe, he had his son. That was her
"Yeah,
universe. He was
yeah." So
like,
he's like,
"That's
"Too bad for you."
the Koyomi in your universe gotta figure that out." That's how I felt like, and that's why I think there's a lot of times where she refers to him as like not human.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And that actually makes
Like,
a lot
"Derikashi
more
ga nai."
sense. Right.
Mhm.
That actually makes a lot more sense to me when she said that because of the voice acting. I don't know if you remember in last week's episode, I said I felt like the voice actors didn't have a whole lot of emotion behind the
Yeah.
characters. And now that I've watched this, I was like, oh, he wasn't, I'm assuming, supposed to have a whole lot of emotion because she says that a lot. Like, you have no tact, I guess.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
you act like a robot. You don't have a heart. And I was like, now things are making more sense as to why the voice actors did not show that much emotion.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, now it makes more sense. But
Makes
because I wasn't mad, but I was like, I can name at least 5 other movies that made me a lot more emotional than this movie is right now. Like, I'm sad, yeah, but I'm not like bawling my
it's
eyes out.
yeah. It's not really hitting like those.
Yeah,
I agree with you there.
it
Honestly,
didn't hit at all.
it didn't. Even when he, like, passed, the only time, like, I felt even emotional was only in this movie where he expressed, like, his love.
Mm,
Like, in the end, you know, when he comes back and after meeting Shiori, like, the older version of her, and he comes
mhm,
back to Kazune and he's like, "I'm very happy now." And the only reason why, like, I'm happy for someone else, like Shiori, is because I have you by my side. And she's like, "Tell that to, like, the zeroth," because after the other cousin that came, he was
mhm,
talking about how this is not 100% the actual version of the original her. That's
right.
supposed to be, and, like, I guess they're shifting slowly. I'm not exactly sure how that worked.
The Kazune in the To Me
Yeah.
movie universe had been shifting with the Kazune in To Every because she kept leaving her letters.
Yeah.
And she would shift, wake her up in the middle of the night, write the letter of the whole story, and then I guess shift out, which I was like, so that means you can willingly shift.
Yeah. No, she was able to willing shift, but I think what he was saying is because of the, like, forceful shifts that I guess they do, the
Mm.
person that comes back is never, like, 100% the same is what I got from after the
Uh,
Dio incident, because her watch was never 0. It was, like, always, like, 1 point something something, and I took that as maybe because they were shifted out on purpose, they can't fully go back to being the same exact person after those experiences, but I wasn't sure why he just explained it in that instant, though.
yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
Because in the end, there's a moment where he's explaining, like, "I'm able to be happy by your side," and she's like, "Tell that to the zeroth, like, tell that to the
Oh,
original
she did
me."
say that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then but he goes to say, like, "I want to say it to every you," and that did give
Every
me the
single one.
feels, but I'm assuming, like, they're just never, I don't know, never the same person, like, that's the part that, like, confused me a bit, like, I didn't really get that.
Which, if that's the case, then she is the only one who is parallel shifting, which means he is staying in that universe, which would make sense because he's not supposed to shift because he'll
Mm,
actually have the chance to meet Shiori, I guess, if he
I
shifts.
see.
So
Oh.
in this particular universe, Kazune is the only one that's shifting.
Uh-huh.
And it could be,
Yeah.
now I don't know, this is a theory. And to me, because Shiori and Koyomi, every time Koyomi shifted, Shiori shifted. But when she shifted, she still shifted as a ghost. She was already gone in that universe. So it didn't matter how many times he shifted. They were parallel shifting together, they were linked together.
Mhm.
So I
Okay.
think possibly there's a third link, and that third link is somehow Kazune. So it could be, maybe, I don't know, whenever Koyomi was shifting, trying to find a world where Shiori was alive, Kazune in turn was also shifting because she is supposed to be with Koyomi.
Mhm. No, that the honestly, the whole, like, parallel universe and stuff like that, it can never, like, fully make sense because, the concept is just unknown still.
Right, right. But I still, compared to me, I feel like to me is more of a how far would you go for love type scenario.
Mhm,
Whereas to every, it's like a true I am supposed to be with you
mhm,
no matter what universe we're in, we are supposed to be together. Because there's even one line where he says, I can't imagine finding a world where I don't have you,
mhm.
or something along those lines.
Oh, so cute. It's cute. Honestly, like, once again, I wish the characters were different, like, they were just 2 separate characters and 2 separate love stories. I feel like that would've just made the story, in my opinion, much better. But yeah,
Hmm.
like, the first one's basically finding Shiori to save her and not be with her. And then this one is, loving this cousin in every world, basically,
Hmm.
which is cute. It's cute.
Overall, I think the storyline is beautiful.
Mhm.
There is a lot of confusion in the To Me movie,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
in To Every, it fills those gaps in To Me.
Yeah.
And I
Eh
enjoyed it,
Mhm.
but I still think I like To Every a whole lot better.
I agree. I think To Every was a lot better, but I also in my opinion, it's not just me personally, it's just not worth it to watch the 2 movies for a one decent movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like overall it's not like, I wouldn't really recommend it. It's okay, but if someone asked me, "Hey, what's a good romance?" Like, this would not be on my list.
Yeah, I don't think this one would be on my list either. Like, I know a lot more that I would recommend before this one, but
Mhm.
if they're
Yeah.
specifically talking about movies and they asked about these 2 specifically, I would say
Yeah.
just watch To Every,
Yeah.
and if you want, then watch To Me, but I feel like
I feel like if you watch it in that order, though, it kinda ruins the experience.
no, I didn't mean, like, necessarily in that order, I
No,
just mean,
I know,
like,
I know. Like,
just
watch
this one
if you have
only,
mhm.
and then you'll be good, like
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the concept, like, I really liked the concept that they were going for, like,
Mhm.
having the 2 come together, but for me, it was just like, it was a miss. I feel like there were ways they could have done it better.
Yeah, I can see that. Definitely. To Every, it had my heart more so
It
than
did.
To Me,
It did.
yeah.
Yep.
Made a lot more
Way
sense.
better.
And it finally let me know who this actual love story is supposed to be about.
Yeah.
That answered the main question. I was like, "Bro,
Yeah.
whose
It
love
must be
story?"
so it must be kinda weird, though, to watch that whole love story play out and then watch the first one.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the first one, I think if we were to only watch To Every, we probably would have been confused as to who she wrote, like the random older lady was at the very end
Yeah.
because we
But I
don't
mean,
know her
but
backstory and we don't know how they met.
the thing is we get the montage,
Yeah,
and they
that's
do,
true.
like, explanation, and because I feel like their love story was, in my opinion, a little short, that montage kind of would have probably filled me in like, "Oh, okay, so he fell in love, she became" I don't know what happened to her exactly, but
Or
he
I think
saved her somehow, and then
in that case, it would have been she fell in love. He couldn't save her. She passed away. He grieved. He moved on with his life and he met Kazune. Point blank, period. That's the end of the story. And now Kazune and Koyomi are happy together and move on with their lives, essentially, you know. But I think compared to Into You, if we would have watched that just standalone, I would have been really confused at that
yeah,
montage.
yeah.
I mean, it makes
Because
sense
the thing
now,
is
but
Yeah, because the thing is, in this movie, they have a whole explanation of the backstory with, the other cousin writing the letters, and
mhm,
she reads it out. So it has the whole explanation of, like, the montage, like, what's
right.
happening in it. So, even without that first movie, I feel like I mean, you never know because there's still probably parts missing, but yeah, I feel like the 2 Every is just better. It just had the
Yeah.
full like, the better full concept in my opinion.
Yeah. I still think both movies are a good conversation piece. Like if you just want to
Yeah.
sit down with your buddies or whatever and
Mhm.
discuss each piece, like how you and I are doing, I think it's
Yeah.
a good anime for that.
The first one was hard to get through, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It was a bit hard to get through, but this one I enjoyed. I could watch through and enjoy it,
Yeah.
but I'm
I agree.
curious to know, like, how other people feel,
Mhm.
and what order other people have watched it in, so if you guys have watched it, let us know because I'm really curious to see which order you have watched it and which order you preferred to have probably seen it in.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Glad that you guys stopped by. We really
Mhm.
appreciate it. We hope each and every one of you have a safe and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
Yep, happy holidays, guys. I hope it's snowy wherever you guys are. Have a wonderful snowy Christmas.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. And next week, we're going to have like a very short, very, very, very short episode. But we hope you guys will come back next week for a nice little short, very short episode. And we hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thanks again for stopping by. Please do not forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Anime Sekai Podcast. And we will be sure to link our socials as well as our playlists for Spotify in the description. So, for those that are interested, please do not forget to click the description. We'll have all the links there for you. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Happy holidays, guys. Bye.
Happy holidays. Bye bye.